Welcome to Zen Fits. Here it is, Tuesday. It's a little chilly, and the global warming is over. So, what is our Zen? What is our Zen Fit today? Well, I didn't do a Zen Fit yesterday because we went to Norfolk for a funeral of. Glenn Powell, who was the last son of a 13-child Powell family here in Blackstone, and I think there's one daughter left out of 13, and so the Powell cruise ship has just about lost all of its members. Anyway, we went to Norfolk for a funeral, and it's a family funeral, my wife's family, so she wanted me to have a coat. You know, my belly's gotten too big, so all my old coats don't fit. So I've always used that as an excuse. Well, I can't go because I don't have a coat. Well, something changed, and I went out and had a flip, I guess. I went out to Kohl's and bought myself a nice black coat, sports coat, and had some black pants and a deep rose-colored shirt with a matching tie. Well, I was fit to be tied, so I went to the funeral, and half the people were casually dressed. Even some of the immediate family members had on just a brown jacket. It was a gravesite funeral and then a gravesite ceremony, so I was very well dressed. And but I remembered before going, when I got my coat and showed it off to everybody here at the house, and I took the tag off and said, I don't want to be like Minnie Pearl, and I cut the tag off. So after the funeral, I got in the car, and I noticed on my sleeve, right here, was a great big tag. Je suis Minnie Pearl. I am Minnie Pearl. And I just thought that was the funniest thing. And even the back of the coat, my wife discovered that the flaps, were sewed, and the pockets were still sewed. But then, bam, a Zen Fit hit. A Zen Fit. A Zen Fit is that you connect the dots. Now, I've been watching the Ken Bruns Country music documentary. I really recommend that. Everybody has seen it, so it's a great thing to talk about when you meet somebody. You don't have anything to talk about, ask them if they've seen the country music documentary. Well, one of the things, and I've been connecting themes to this documentary, and one of the themes I just realized was the Minnie Pearl theme. Now, the Grand Ole Opry, which was like the church, the country music church in Nashville, was hayseed, and if you remember, it ran on TV a long time. People love it. Why? Because they make being a hillbilly a badge of honor. Minnie Pearl. She wears a hat with a tag hanging off of it, like she just bought it in the store and forgot the tag. That's hillbilly. You know what I mean? No, I mean, that's country. And so country became, if you recall, hillbilly country became redneck jokes. Redneck jokes are kind of like Polish jokes, or before that, before it became politically incorrect, retarded jokes. How many retarded guys does it take to open a bulb? But anyway, so even you couldn't say retarded anymore. There's, a mentally deprived or something. But anyway, hillbillies became hillbilly country, became the deplorables. It was a badge of shame, and so a lot of this country music, you see, came out of that poverty, that shame, and poverty is no shame, unless you think you're poor. a lot of people who grow up in poverty, who don't just think this is the way it is. I'm not poor, so we don't have indoor plumbing. That's all right, you know. But then once the comparing mind comes in, and you see somebody else with indoor plumbing and you don't have it, and they begin to look down on you a little bit because they've got indoor plumbing and you don't. You see, now you begin to feel poor. Now you begin to feel country. Now you begin to feel deplorable. And so what does Minnie Pearl do? She wears her deplorability out there. So the Grand Ole Opry used to exaggerate hillbilly, exaggerated poverty, exaggerated unschooled language, exaggerated it, you see. Just like when somebody puts a negative label on you, the way you flip it is to wear the label willingly, wear it as a badge of honor. And so remember with the Trump, you know, when Hillary called the Trump's people deplorables, and they got out T-shirts and said, well, I'm a deplorable. In other words, that was the Minnie Pearl. That was the Minnie Pearl, you see. You're going to wear the price tag on that head. You're going to exaggerate your deplorability. You're going to exaggerate your poverty and accept it willfully, joyfully accept it. And of course, this is the message of the cross. Did you know that? The message of the cross, at least my message, is that Jesus accepted and went to the cross joyfully. Now, to be crucified was a dishonor. You see, you could be executed, okay, but if you were crucified, that meant you were hung up for ridicule. And people spit at you and threw rocks at you. You were a deplorable, you see. That was not only just death, it was shame. It was guilt, you see. So how do you handle that? Well, you willingly wear it. And you put on a T-shirt that says, I'm a deplorable, fuck you. You see. You joyfully participate in the negativity. You joyfully participate in your label. You joyfully participate in the judgment you feel. You joyfully participate in the poverty you have been imprisoned in. The mental poverty, you see. Poverty is mental. The crucifixion is mental. Poverty is a mental state that one wears like a sackcloth, and you can't get it off, you see. Because every time anybody looks at you, you think they see this deplorable, this embarrassment, you see. I feel a sneeze coming on, excuse me. So this whole idea of the Minnie Pearl thing just struck me like a sledgehammer. That the fact that and then the whole country music story, you see, has been the country music singers trying to get away from being called hillbilly, yet at the same time not getting away from the roots. Don't get above your raisin was the story. Don't get above your raising. Don't get above your roots, you see. Don't get above your roots in this poverty, which is your source, which is your creative energy. Don't get too far from that, or you're going to lose your essence, you see. So this whole idea of staying close to your roots is the really told right there in the Grand Ole Opry, in its exaggerated deplorability, joyful participation in one's negativity that others have imposed on you, and which you impose on yourself because you believe it. If you believe the judgment of others, you're judging yourself. If you believe the label of others, that you are deplorable, that you're not worthy, that you are embarrassment, that you really don't have a right to exist, that you have to ask permission to exist, you see. That is a belief in a judgment that is like putting on a sackcloth, you see. It's like putting on the crucifixion, becoming a victim, you see. So you joyfully, so when you feel that victimhood, you see, the only way out is to accept it joyfully, you see. So joyfully be Minnie Pearl. Joyfully wear the label and laugh, you see. That's the Zen Fit for today. Thanks for dropping in.